The Hex Angels came to my uncle's funeral. What's the nicest thing you've seen a gang do? I ran the after-school program at an elementary school in a rough part of town. Our playground was actually a city park, which meant we couldn't do the maintenance on broken equipment and I couldn't kick people out to make it safer for my kids. I'd had problems with some teen and 20-something dickheads drinking and finger-banging their girlfriends while the kids were out playing. And god damn it, we didn't deserve to just stay inside because cops didn't patrol. My kids deserved to play. It was frustrating. One day, a couple gnarly old 1%ers approached me while we were outside, which scared me, and asked if I had been having trouble with the neighbors coming around. I told them that it had been pretty rough. One just clapped a hand on my back and said, "You all ain't gonna have that no more, and you ain't gonna have no trouble from us." The next day, a biker was by the basketball court keeping watch while the kids played, and left when we were done. That continued every day for the rest of the school year. Also, the guys who stood watch never smoked or cussed while the kids were out there. I don't condone their activity, but I appreciated their help. That is very cool. It's nice to hear that even rough bikers care to make sure children are all right and have a safe environment to play and enjoy themselves in. The Westboro Baptist Church came to my town to protest President Obama's visit, and to also claim that a massive tornado that killed 161 people in my town just few days prior was deserved for whatever reasons. Luckily, hundreds of bikers and gangs and truckers blocked them in at a gas station and nobody saw them that day. When I was in high school I went on a double date to go see a movie, don't remember which one, and when we came out of the theater we realized that my friend who drove had locked his keys in the car. We spent an hour or so begging cops that we saw in the parking lot to unlock the car for us and every one of them turned us down. Then seemingly out of nowhere this gentleman appears, sees us looking in the window of our car, and asks if he can help us. We explained the situation, he says he can help. Within 15 seconds our car is unlocked. Being amazed high schoolers we just stared in awe at what had happened, then he leaves us with these parting words, "Today is my first day out of prison, I was in for grand theft auto," and off he walked. My mom got a flat tire years ago, with 3 kids under the age of 5 in the car, and mind you, it was this middle of summer and she had no cell phone. The typical bad butt, long-beard biker pulled over and changed the tire for her without a question. She tried to give him money, and his response was just tell everyone a warlock helped you out. When I was younger, I lived in a relatively bad part of town. I was amazing white, and most of my neighbors were black or Hispanic. I started playing sports at school, and made friends with a number of kids, including this one guy named Thaddeus who was 2 years older than me. The Thaddeus was a big, tough kid, but a secret that he kept from a lot of people was that he sang like an angel. He told me once, and sang, Kelly's, "I Believe I Can Fly," and I've never heard it done better. I swore to him I would never tell a soul and I never did. Thaddeus got involved in some gang activity later on, and I lost touch with him until high school. I was walking home late one night when I was approached by a group of black teenagers who apparently saw me as an easy mark. I wasn't sure whether I was just going to get mugged or was going to get an butt kicking out of it too. I think my membership on the football team was the only thing that saved me from an immediate beat down, but it wasn't going to end well. Suddenly, I hear a loud, "Hey, the frick are you doing? Leave him alone." I look over, and Thaddeus and a couple older, 20+ guys are pushing into this circle. Thaddeus throws an arm around my shoulders and says, "He's cool, you frick with CMXI, you frick with me." The teenagers dispersed, and Thaddeus made sure I was okay before sending me on my way. I was a bit shook up at the time, so it wasn't until I reflected later that I realized that Thaddeus and all the older guys were pretty obviously strapped, and their status saved me from any trouble for the remainder of my time in high school. Thaddeus sounds like a boss. Professor told us this story while we were on a field trip in Arkansas. He was giving a lesson in the Ozark Mountains at some outcrop on the side of the road when he heard a rumble coming down the road. Next thing he knew there were about 100 rough and tumble Hell's Angels coming toward them. As they passed he said the rumble was deafening. Finally the whole crew passed them, when he noticed that the leader of the pack called for a U-turn. As they made the U-turn they approached the class going on and all the bikers brought their bikes to a stop, not knowing what was going on. My professor asks if he can help them. The leader then proceeded to say that he saw something about geology on the History Channel and was wondering if he could sit in on the lecture my professor was giving. With a laugh my professor obliges and looks back on it as the most rewarding lecture he's ever given. Perks of being a leader: make 100 bikers sit through a lecture to satisfy your curiosity. Nobody says crap. My dad was a biker since I was about 17. He loved riding on his BMW and was always tinkering with one of them in the garage. While he never joined a gang, he was friendly enough to them when they came around to his local bar or when he saw them while on a ride with his buddies. Dad went on cross-country trips, mainly ending up in Wisconsin to visit friends. Fast forward to this past Christmas, my dad died on the 23rd and we were having his funeral. Mom insisted on him looking proper, though I was holding onto his biker vest. A bunch of bikers came in, a significant number from a gang. I was later told, many rode in the Ohio cold on their bikes in his memory. One in particular came from Wisconsin just to give me a necklace Dad left him to fix up for me. I had this necklace since I was a small child. Dad bought it for me. It broke when I was 14, and I haven't seen it until he brought it back to me. Fixed up. These are the kinds of things I like about bikers. Tough and scary, maybe, but you can be dang sure the majority of them will keep their word and they're easy to understand. Don't screw with them, they won't screw with you. 2 good encounters with bikers. The father of a schoolmate was an angel. Despite being an enormous, scary, hairy bear of a man who was constantly covered in leather and stunk of oil and beer, he was a great guy. He always looked after his kids and their friends. When one of my friends got lost on the local mill and he got some mates on buggies to go find him. The second one was more recently. I ride a crappy little 50 cubic centimeter scooter and was at the front of a bunch of cars trying to change lanes so I could turn off the major road I was in after a light change. 2 bikers, not sure which gang they are at town local, saw me struggling with some butthole in a 4x4 not getting ahead or falling back so I could change lanes. These 2 bikers swung in front of him and forced an entire lane to slow down, then waved me in. A lot of those biker gangs can be great guys. They employ the same tactics old-time gangsters used: treat the community well so they view you in a more positive light. The bike clubs around here are great. My niece was born with a rare condition and needed several surgeries. That of course insurance wouldn't cover. In the first few years of her life, we had to raise $100,000. The bike clubs came through every time. They are some of the nicest people in the world. Just this weekend I went to a number nights event which raised over $10,000, I think, for children with cancer. They are some of the most caring and charitable people I have ever met. The Yakuza in Japan are known to help with the reconstruction every time there is a tsunami attack. Friendly neighborhood mafia. My uncle used to work with kids and teenagers in inner-city Chicago. He helped start a soup kitchen and a school for kids in tough situations. He also used to do gang interventions, trying to get gangs to let a member out or leave someone alone. He was a Franciscan and always wore his robes when he went out at night or was expecting trouble. Gang members shot near him or above his head quite a bit, but they always deliberately missed. Other members of his community learned to always venture into dangerous territory in their robes because Chicago gang members just don't shoot Franciscan brothers or sisters. When I was 15, someone slipped acid in my soda at a bar. My stepdad played in a skeezy southern rock cover band, so I spent a lot of time in bars with my parents, helping my mom run the soundboard. I don't remember much about what happened, but at some point a group of ghost readers gathered around me as I was in a corner rocking back and forth and carried me out to a car and took me home. They made me tea and brought me crackers and basically talked me through until dawn. My parents stayed at the bar and worked. They just let these bikers take me home and take care of me. 2 of them were convicted felons with violent offenses who had done many years in prison. I've seen and heard of plenty of gangs, bikers, especially, doing good deeds, with the image of a bunch of big, burly, hairy dudes and leather brewing you a nice cup of Earl Grey really does it for me. This is the end of the video. I hope you liked it. As we can see, gang members seem pretty nice after all. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want more videos.